I don't know if you know this, but Bluey has dance mode. Very famous, excellent episode. And
Yeah.
we should call this upload mode.
Yeah.
That's how I feel every time we
Whatever.
go through this.
It's actually going quick today, though, so we'll be there shortly.
I can never tell Andy based on my upload button.
Maybe. Happy Friday, making of a marketer, and we are on Jess's favorite subject today. It's the Mendoza effect. If you read the title of this one, and Jess, it's a quick and fast world for these college athletes. One day you are winning a national title, bringing some joy to team that hasn't won a lot, as you would say, in a long time, and bringing that national championship towards Indiana, and now moving over to Vegas as the number one overall pick. So we got a lot of little marketing talk to happen today, both the Mendoza effect, but also, Jess, you and I were just talking offline, the NFL draft, not something that I tune a lot into, but I'm hearing a lot more about because it's literally happening 20 minutes from my house right now in Pittsburgh, PA. So there's been a lot of oomph around the city for all the festivities.
Yeah, I'm pumped. I'm wearing my black. It's not silver, but we'll call it black and silver. Looks like I'm joining Raiders Nation. I have to look more into it. I've heard that they're pirates, and I'm loving that. I've always felt like I'm a pirate within the corporate confines and corporate structure.
Yeah.
So I am excited. And yes, I just watched the Mendoza announcement. I didn't watch the whole thing. This was actually the first time that I've watched a portion of the draft. So I'm learning as
Yeah.
this is unfolding.
So did you know that this draft, I think the number I saw, and if I'm quoting this wrong, you can correct me as you listen, but I know I'm in the ballpark. The live attendance for when he was picked, I believe, was 370,000 people, which marked the largest attendance in a single day of NFL draft history. So you think about that, Jess, like a normal NFL stadium could hold 60 to 75,000 people. So you're talking more than four NFL stadiums worth of people watching this. For me, you probably wouldn't catch me anywhere near this thing because I feel like I can watch it all at home and I'm good, but it's such a large event.
Totally. And I loved that he accepted at home with his family and they had the ESPN reporter there. I mean it was big.
Yeah.
It was well done.
So we'll start with Fernando because we're going to bridge this in beyond like NFL and talk a little bit about. We started talking about influencers, creators, CEOs, like different people and personal brands. We talked a lot about that with our Coachella episode last week. But how about when it comes to athletes in this world? So that's not a new world. Like we talk about athletes, commercials, and doing these different things, but athletes more as personal brands. Probably in the last 10 years, we've seen that pick up quite a bit, but they have different angles they take. And just the one thing I think you've always been fascinated with, Fernando, is not only from your home school, but someone who has adapted to using LinkedIn as an athlete, which we've seen this done. So it's not necessarily new, but I do think it's new from someone as high profile as he is, the number one overall pick. You could argue in terms of ranking athletes and where they're at right now, in terms of just pure notoriety and like brand recognition, he's probably top 10 across every sport in the US. So it'll be interesting to see how this leverages. And if I'm playing devil's advocate, I was curious your thoughts on this, Jess. We talked a lot about not being too corporate, not getting sucked in, not losing your oomph, your vibe. You're putting this guy, a young kid in Vegas, Jess. That's corporation central right there. That's like brand partnership central. Can he remain pure in Sin City once this new relationship begins?
Oh, I hope so. He just comes off as truly a wonderful human being, authentic, real. I loved during the acceptance at home, he changed his LinkedIn profiles. Yeah, so let's break this down because I know you're saying that the athlete piece on LinkedIn has happened prior, but I
Mm-hmm.
haven't really seen it like this. So he goes into it, changes his open to work
Yep.
to removes the banner, says that he's a LinkedIn partner. So he announces that as well
Yep.
while this is all happening. And my feed just blew up. And everything that was happening with him last night in that moment, it went viral on LinkedIn. So tell me more. What is happening right now with athletes on LinkedIn?
There's been some dabbling. One of the more famous ones is former quarterback, now analyst, Robert Griffin III. He posts quite a bit on LinkedIn, but a lot of it's analysis. There's also just like the sports business side you'll see on LinkedIn where it's either the athletes talking about their business partnerships, kind of what you would expect, to come on LinkedIn. I don't necessarily feel like I've seen a lot of in the moment stuff though. And that's probably the biggest gap is so Mendoza is trying to take like this in the moment, take us along the ride with him, where I've seen more of your old school, like, hey, business talk. Here's what we did to drive X revenue and X partnerships across Y athletes. So I feel like that's something a little bit different, but curious, if they're growing this partnership internally because I don't know enough in the weeds to be able to say if some of these athletes have ever had that with LinkedIn or if they're just kind of doing it on their own and then gained like top voice status.
Yeah, it seems new to me, but also seems very intentional and meaningful because he had plenty of chances as he was building the story, as we were going on this hero journey for the last few months with LinkedIn. We saw key moments where he met with Ryan Rolansky. He was on the path. He's had conversations with the leader of the marketing organization, and this has all been documented. And it was very poignant last night for him to then officially not only talk about he didn't say that he was going to the Raiders. He was like, I'm very proud to be part of the NFL, but
Yeah.
he made it very official that I'm a LinkedIn partner as
Yeah.
well. So so this campaign or the way that this hero story is unfolding seems very intentional to me, and I'm here for it. And I saw immediately how that communication went viral on the platform, and then we had all of our executives, all of our leaders responding, and it was a wonderful moment.
So now let's talk about he gets into his first year. So college, you now can make money as a college athlete, but it's a little different. You can't do as the types of brand sponsorships you can and can't do are a little stricter. You're in the NFL, you do kind of whatever the heck you want with a lot of these sponsorships. So if you're advising him right now, just you're his marketer, his advisor, he could take, let's make up a number, 100 million right now and turn it into 800 million. He can make more probably off sponsorships than he can playing the game and then combine it all into one thing. But it also goes into some influencer marketing. He's getting into that right now. So if I'm like, we'll say it's Vegas, I'm Dior, I'm Gucci. I want Fernando Mendoza to be like walking around with my bag and have like millions of dollars to be influencing this. How are you advising him? Are you telling him to take the deals, to make the money, to like, get some of this going with his social media presence? Or are you holding him back and letting it be a little more natural? Like, what would you be advising right now? Because I feel like the deals are going to come in. It's gonna be exactly what we talked about with Coachella. it still remain as authentic as it is today.
Oh man, is this going to be a cautionary tale? Come on, Andy.
Yeah.
I don't want this. Well, I mean, it's not Gucci, but he's already got the partnership with Taco Bell. So,
Yeah,
and then
move
that
on.
that was showcased last night on LinkedIn
People
as
like
well.
Taco Bell, so
Yeah,
that's kind
yeah,
of a
that's
neutral. Yeah.
yeah, Gucci, Taco Bell. Yeah, so there's that. I would say, you got to get out there. You do have to test. He's getting his reps in on the platform. Very, very good. You're going to see the confidence build with his videos and the way that he's communicating. You see it every time that he gets the reps in. And I would say, stay close to his mentors. I think one of the best things that could happen out of this is he's gonna be under the wing of Tom Brady. I mean,
Yeah.
that's gonna be huge. And I don't know the person's name. My husband just like quickly told me it this morning. We have to look it up. But the Raiders did hire a coach or a mentor specifically for
Good.
him as
Yeah.
well. So he's gonna have this team and this support behind him, he just seems like the type of person that would listen and really and do the work. So now it's time to prove himself.
Yeah.
I mean, we know what he could do from the college level, but this is a completely different ball game. I mean, Las Vegas seems a little different from his brand and the presence that he's putting out there right now. I think it's wildly exciting, but he's got a good support system around him that can guide and help shepherd him as
Yeah.
he goes to that next level of creator status.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of a business world, there's no better place. Like that is not only, of course, corporate central, but it's just like a hop in sports venue right now. All of their teams are new. They're about to have the Las Vegas Athletics and MLB. They're moving there and building their stadium. So it's just become this like mega sports hub. And I'm super curious because there's two things I think about if we're talking about sponsorships, athletes. So it's of course going from the college, like the big ranks. You're typically in a larger city. There's going to be a lot of opportunities there. But I feel like when you get into a New York, a Vegas, an LA, like it kind of like expedites that process because there's just going to be a lot of stuff to do and a lot of things to get into. So I'm super curious. I think it's going to, so far, his brand's been so natural, and I think that's why it's worked well for LinkedIn because that's a lot of what we're preaching right now. And along with other platforms, I feel like we are at this age of Coachella, which I'm going to loop this back to Coachella because I have an update there, Jess. It goes to this age of Coachella where there's people that want to see certain things, but instead they're receiving commercials on their social media feeds, and we're trying to figure out what that right blend is.
Uh, yes, definitely. Oh, he also announced yesterday on LinkedIn the founding of the Mendoza Foundation for MS with his mother. So
Yeah.
I feel like he is trying to do good with
Yeah.
this new creator status, but the way that it's rolling out, the way that he's communicating, it's absolutely engaging and captivating, and I think it's taking LinkedIn by storm. And
Yeah.
let's just say I did already look up things in Las Vegas last night. I got the hotels
Yeah.
figured out, sorted. Got to see where that stadium is. It's very close. Yeah,
Yes.
so it's exciting. I will be going.
Yeah.
Raiders
Yeah.
Nation, here we come.
You'll be wearing the jersey, all fully authentic and everything.
Yes.
So speaking of authentic, Jess, updates. So we talked, our last episode was after week 1 of Coachella. So there was week 2 where Justin Bieber performed again. Look at what this did from a moment. Record attendance now. Number 1 Coachella ever in terms of raw attendance. Went from the last couple of years saying it wasn't selling out and people were wondering kind of like what's going on with it. They said his second show after the first one, after that viral moment, had significantly more amounts of people. So I think the estimates we're seeing right now is a close to around 750,000 people per weekend, but a jump of when he was performing on those days. So what's in this is the life lesson, Jess, because if I were to look, I'm with you. Like, I did some research on this. If I were to look at just like brand sentiment, the Coachella experience brand sentiment has been getting lower. But if you partner and have the right moments with the right people, how much one person, one influencer, one musician can change brand sentiment. I don't even say that for the Raiders right now. Like, their brand sentiment's not high. Like, they stink. Like, all of a sudden, look at all the excitement. Look at the sales. Like, look at the oomph now. So it's quite interesting to see how that plays out. If I'm their marketing team, I'm looking at this and I'm like, how can we recreate these types of moments? And how have we been forcing it for years and not getting this type of reach?
Mm-hmm. And you gotta look at the social component and that social bump or the YouTube shorts that probably played into it as well. That people were probably like, wow, okay, this is really cool. Let's see if I can be a part of this. So like
Yeah.
the post social ticket sales.
Yeah. Yep. It's the social FOMO they tell everyone about. Like, they want to get there, and they're saying now, I got to see if it's been announced. They're saying Bieber's announcing a world tour after this, which famously was canceled the last time he did this because of his ongoing health struggles. So interesting. Just interesting to see how this is all played out.
Ooh, I wonder if he will continue along this path of being raw and real,
I think
or
so.
if okay,
I think
okay.
he
So
will.
this is playing off of what we saw at Coachella. So it's like again, he put out a test.
Yeah.
The audience,
Marketing test
yeah, the
responded.
marketing
Yeah.
test, the community responded resoundingly positive. So
Yeah.
now we're gonna build off this.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. So I'm curious to see how that plays out. Maybe that's another episode for a later day. Would love to have someone in the music marketing world. But that would be a fascinating conversation. But looping it back to sports, Jess. So the one I wanted to bring up, we're talking about athletes and personal brands. Are you familiar with the name Connor Griffin right now?
It's no,
Have you has it
it
come
sounds
across
like
your
it's a
feed?
boxer. I
No,
mean, I'm confusing it with
no.
someone else, but
So he's an MLB player,
okay.
rookie. So Fernando Mendoza went through all of college. Now he's going to the professionals. Connor Griffin, 19 years old, made it to the MLB through all the minor leagues. The youngest player to make it to the majors since I think it was 2012. Now, not only did he make it to the majors, the first day he got called up from the minor leagues to the Pirates, they signed him to a 9-year, $140 million contract before he played a game. So he's setting all kinds of records. But could you imagine? You're 19 years old, Jess. I can tell you what I was doing at 19 years old. There was no millions or really even thousands attached to my name. Um, how would you go about managing that? Like 140 million if you gave that to a 19-year-old. Like, now your brand is basically set, and what you do with it now is kind of up to you. You can obviously need to perform as an athlete. That will set the mark even higher. But I find that so interesting when we see a teenager start to make those kinds of numbers. We talk about Bieber, we talk about different people when they get that. Like, now you start creating your brand as a teenager. Like, well, I don't even know what that would look like with those numbers, but I find it fascinating. I'd love for him to get on LinkedIn too, because outside of Mendoza, that's like one of the next hot names that's out there right now.
I was just gonna say, come on over. We'd
Yep.
love to have you here at LinkedIn. I will tell you, MLB. This is something that I would occasionally go to Giants games and definitely went to Sox and Cubs games when I lived in Chicago. But now we purchased an MLB package just for the Mariners Because
Yep.
now the Mariners,
They're good.
my
Yeah.
husband's from Seattle. We are after last year. We're in. So now I would
Yep.
say I'm a Mariners fan. We purchased this package. I didn't realize there's pretty much a game every single day.
Yep. If
So
you
we're
want to watch games
watching.
every day, you can.
We're watching. I know Google Cloud. Oh man, that advertising has been
Yeah.
front and center around the entire experience and production. But yeah, so these are new. These are new worlds for me,
Yep.
Andy. Yeah, so I'm just getting into the baseball realm as well.
So the thing about baseball, and you think about it as a marketing function, it's a little different than football. So football is an event, it's an experience. You're coming out one day a week, like it is like your whole Sunday. Baseball, it's 162 games, so it's a day-to-day thing. You have to be able to, of course, MLB.TV is like the hardcore, but you got to be able to attract just like the casual fan that wants to hang out at the ballpark. It's another day. And even the people that watch, like I watch a lot of my Astros games, my team from Houston, but I can't dial in every single day. So sometimes it's literally background TV. Like I might be cleaning, I might be doing work. Like if they have a day game while I'm working from home and I don't have any meetings, you kind of just put it on the background. That's kind of like what instead of radio, that's what I'm listening to in the background. So you have to figure out a way to cue to that audience too. So it's like the more day to day, and then maybe there's some theme days they have at the stadium, some themes on the broadcast. But if I'm an athlete, you take yourself through that day to day as a personal brand and maybe like what brands you use, like what helps you on the road. If you're don't have time to do some of your business things, taxes, whatever, like who's helping you, like that's the world I would think about if I were branding an athlete on LinkedIn for baseball. You can't possibly focus on a lot for 6 months because you're playing every single day. So what vendors are helping you make it through? That's the day to day. If someone can figure that out and put it on LinkedIn, you'll have a nice MLB partnership.
Totally love it. Yes, I was looking, I was thinking about that more, just what you were saying, and I think that's going behind the scenes like that because I did not realize it was or it is such a grind. I mean,
Hmm.
yesterday we had a day off. I'm
Yep.
saying we as if I'm playing on the team, but just
Then
from
they play like
watching
13
now.
days in a row.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you'll love this, Andy. So the way that we have the MLB set up, I mean, we're just watching the Mariners,
Yeah.
and you can set it up where so we have the broadcast playing, and then you can have the radio as
Hmm.
the background
Yeah.
noise. So we don't have the broadcasters tied to the broadcast. We have the
The
radio
radio. Yeah.
announcers. And it's like it's a really slick experience. And then they also do offer like the 10-minute like here's the full game
Yeah.
recaps, but we've had the game on in the
Yeah.
background and watching it, and I'm like,
We'll
wow,
keep
this is a long season.
We'll keep this as a steady update because I'm curious what your thoughts are as the baseball season rolls around. Traditionally, around July, August, September, if your team's still in the hunt, that's when things get a little more testy. There tends to be a little more fights, a little more adrenaline, like it starts building up more and more. Trade season. One thing I would say, you'll start to learn about the marketing too. But if your husband, if he's a historian of baseball and kind of what the eras are and how they play every day, so now it's like a super cleaned up sport because you're tested for everything. You should ask about how they got through during the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Like if crazy, like between like cheating, steroids, players were taking speed so they could be like awake and like dialed in. Like there is a significant drug problems in MLB and not just steroids, like significant issues with the MLB and how it's been cleaned up quite a bit. But where it's like that, the brand of MLB was probably one of the most like tainted, I would say, and how they've tried to clean this up over the last 30 years is fascinating.
Okay, I'm definitely getting more of the family clean cut of athletic
Yes.
fun
Yeah.
versus I had no idea. You're making it sound like childhood acting or in the industry. I'm thinking Judy Garland here in my
Yeah.
mind, and when they would give them the speed to perform all the time. I mean, that's
I mean, it
wild.
was basically a wild west of in baseball too, stealing signs, for instance. Like that is you try to steal the coach's signs. Like that was just like part of it for so long, and everybody had different schemes. Like I remember in Little League at 12 years old, we learned the coach's signs, and I was relaying them to my team, and we were stealing, and so we knew when their players were stealing. So like baseball is a little bit like the Wild West, and they've been trying to rein that in for quite a while now.
Yep. Yeah, I'll keep you posted. I think they're doing it because
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Learn about the. It's a good YouTube watch too. Do like baseball in the '90s. You'll learn all kinds of stuff about what these players were doing.
Wow.
But I'll leave us with that. Athlete branding. Hopefully, it's helpful. You and I have no professional experience of branding athletes, so just some loose suggestions. You could take it if, for whatever reason, you're in that world. But I think it just follows all the same things we're saying. You know,
Yeah.
authenticity, staying true to yourself. You can collect the bag, but it could also make you lose a little bit of that brand that you set up initially. So, like, what are those right dials? I think those are the conversations each athlete will need to have as they move forward in that.
Yeah. Same. We're all people. It's all the same. What we're telling the executives, what we're telling brands, just be true to yourself, authentic, real, and keep pushing. Again, how many times do we need to say this? Keep getting those reps in.
Yeah.
As you get the reps in, it will become easier to connect with your
Yeah.
community. You're
Reps
going to
are
know what they
important.
want. You're going to know what resonates, and then hopefully it will become more fun too.
Yeah.
And you're going to enjoy sharing the ins and outs of your story and how
Yeah.
it can help others.
Find the enjoyment in the marketing. That's always what we call a P0 goal here at LinkedIn. Sometimes P0, that's what I try to always say for myself.
Yep.
But until then, Jess, we'll be back soon, and hope everyone has a great week.